Greetings, team. Welcome to Monday Morning Pearls, brought to you by Span the Chasm. My name is Randy Remersma. Before we get into the Pearl, I want to encourage you to go out and listen to our podcast, Uncommon Sales Success. It's a compilation of interviews with sales leaders across the space, some great learnings in here. Why does it matter to you? Because there's very practical and immediately actionable advice that's going to come out of these things. Learnings from mistakes, best practices we're seeing playing out in the field, stuff that's going to help you be more successful immediately. Where do you go get them? Go to spanthechasm.com/podcast. All the information you need is there. It'll point you to all the different platforms that you might like. So with that, on to this week's Monday Morning Pearl.
Hey guys, welcome to Monday Morning Pearls. I am Ronnell. I'm joined by Randy. The what are we calling you? The eagle?
Yeah, the bald eagle.
The bald eagle.
Grand High and Exalted, I don't know, whatever.
All of those things.
Amen.
So, hey Randy, this morning I want to ask you something I think is really important to sales leaders out there.
Okay.
And we're 2020 is quickly approaching, right guys? It's right around the corner. So as we've passed that halfway mark in 2019, what should sales leaders be focused on? What should the decision makers, what should our movers and shakers, as they're looking at their sales organizations and deciding, okay, man, how do I prepare for 2020? What should they be focused on?
So 2020 is coming fast, way faster than people think it's coming. And I see this year over year over year. There's a couple of things that I want to point people to be thinking about now, because if they compress it too much at the back end, they're going to be kind of backed into a corner and reacting instead of being proactive about it. So number one is, it is time now to be thinking about your sales kickoff. You're going to have the team together in January. You're going to have them, maybe it's going to be early February, but you're going to have that magical moment where the whole squad is together. And we want to make sure this is a great time for your team, right? But let's do this with intent. Let's start building it out now. Let's not just reuse last year's slides, rebrand them a little bit, change a couple of things, and have them resent the time, because they deserve a great sales kickoff, and it's up to us to deliver it. And at the very least, as you're going into this process, what do I want them to know? How do I want them to feel? What do I want them to do? Have some meaning and intentionality to it, right? So sales kickoff, I would start working on that now. As we hit the fall, it is time to start thinking about sales kickoff. The other thing that I think we need to start planning on as well is, if we're growing or contracting, no matter what, we have to have a look at territory planning and compensation planning. This is another area where I find people get a little bit lazy. They let it bump up against December, and then what happens? Territory plans don't come out until February or March. Compensation plans don't come out until March or April, and people are wondering, WTF, what's going on, right? So let's not get lazy, and especially on compensation planning. Man, this is something I care about so much. Stop thinking about your compensation plan as a compensation plan. It is a human behavior modification plan. You're compensating people to do things the way you want them to be done. And if you build it well, they'll open that thing up at the beginning of every day and say, what does this thing tell me to do? Because this is where my income and my satisfaction is coming from. So take that very seriously. In the third area, I see people ignore this, and then they're jammed at the end of the, right up against the end, and they're behind the eight ball on this one. And this is capacity planning. Whether we're growing, whether we're shrinking, we need to make sure that we have enough resources to actually deliver the work, right? To do the job, to deliver the number. That's partly the head count, and it's partly factored by competency. If we can increase the competency of the average person, we increase our coverage and our effectiveness. So looking at what resources am I going to need for next year, how many head count, and at what level of competency to be able to deliver the number, and start mapping that out now, because otherwise you're going to be in Q1, tail between your legs, going to your CFO, asking for a bunch of money that's unbudgeted, right? So for me, three things to start thinking about now is the years where, it's not 2020 yet, but it's coming. Make sure you got a plan for SKO. Go to our website. There's a sheet there under the SKO area where it's a checklist where you can actually pull that down, and it'll give you a map for how to make your sales kickoff successful. Get your territory and compensation planning in place now. Human behavior modification. That's really what a compensation plan is. And start making sure now that you're going to have the right capacity, the right number of headcount, at the right level of competency to deliver the number.
I love that, Randy. So guys, it's all about being proactive. Let's get proactive, not reactive. If you need some help with that, well, you can reach out to this guy, this good-looking guy right here, or this guy.
Love to have a conversation if it makes sense, because You cannot win 2020 in 2020. You cannot win it from the rearview mirror. You got to win it through the windshield.
Exactly.
And that takes activity today to start planning for that. If we're going to win the year, we got to do it before the year starts.
There it is. All right.
Amen.
Thanks, Randy. Excellent one.